Have you ever laid in bed, staring at the ceiling and just replayed it? The presentation that flopped, the business that stalled, the conversation where you said the exact wrong thing, that feeling a cold, heavy stone in your gut. It's not just memory. It's a stained dot, so you do what we're all told to do. You bounce back. You stay positive. You try to bury that failure under a mountain of new effort, hoping if you move fast enough, you can outrun the ghost of what went wrong. Here's the shocking paradox. The harder you try to get over your failures, the more power you give them. You're treating the cracks in your confidence like flaws to be hidden. What if you've got it all backwards? There's an ancient Japanese art, centuries old, called Kintsugi. It's the practice of repairing broken pottery with lacquer dusted with gold, silver, or platinum. The philosophy is radical. The breakage isn't something to disguise. It's a fundamental, valuable part of the object's history. The cracks, once mended with precious metal, become the most beautiful part. The piece is considered more valuable for having been broken. Now, imagine applying that, not to pottery, but to your psyche, to your ambitions, to every stumble and fall you've ever taken. When you combine the radical acceptance of Kintsugi with the modern neuroscience of neuroplasticity, you unlock a terrifyingly powerful ability, the ability to stop running from your past and to start forging it into the very engine of your future. You learn to stop seeing yourself as broken and start seeing yourself as a work of art in progress, where the gold is your earned wisdom. But here's the problem. Our entire world screams the opposite. It sells us cover-up, perfection, flawless feeds, overnight successes. So we shove our failures into the shadows, where they don't heal, they fester. They become the silent script of our self-doubt. You failed then, you'll fail again. And that voice? It doesn't just steal your peace. It paralyzes your progress. Meet Alex. He's 32. On paper, he was the promise. A mid-level marketing manager at a sleek tech startup in Austin. He pitched himself as the big ideas guy. And for a while, it worked. Then came Project Atlas, a flagship campaign, his to lead. He bet everything on it, sleepless nights, strained relationships, his entire sense of professional worth. The launch day wasn't just a failure. It was a public, humiliating implosion. A key feature malfunctioned live on the webinar. The influencer partnerships fell through. The metrics were a flat line. The post-mortem email from the CEO, CCD, to the entire leadership team used the phrase, catastrophic misjudgment of fundamentals. The stone in his gut became a boulder. The internal dialogue was a torrent. Fraud. They finally see you. All your ideas are just hot air. You've peaked, and this is it. He did the bounce-back dance, polished the resume, forced the networking smiles. But the stain of Atlas was on him. He could see it in interviewers' eyes when he explained the gap in his portfolio. He was now the guy from that failed campaign. His financial cushion evaporated. The credit card balances crept up. The rent felt heavier each month. He was living in the aftershock. The catalyst event wasn't professional. It was physical. A searing pain in his chest one night, so intense he drove himself to the A, convinced it was the end. The diagnosis: severe costochondritis, inflammation of the rib cartilage, brought on by, as the doctor calmly put it, extreme, sustained stress and poor posture. His body had literally broken under the weight of the story he was carrying. Lying on that gurney, wired to beeping machines, a deeper truth shattered his reality. This wasn't about one failed project. This was a systemic failure of his entire operating system. He had tied his identity to outcomes he couldn't fully control. He had built a life so fragile that a single professional crack could cause the whole thing to collapse. His dark night of the soul question echoed in the sterile room. If I'm not the successful guy, then who am I? And what's left? During his forced convalescence, scrolling through a digital museum archive, Alex found Kintsugi. It stopped him cold. The piece is not thrown away. It is carefully gathered. The breaks are studied. They are integral to the new whole. This was his first revelation. The core mindset of Kintsugi for the mind. It's the shift from damage-based identity to repair-based identity. You are not the breaking. You are the careful, intentional, beautiful mending. Your failures are not evidence of your faulty material. They are simply the points where the pressure exceeded your current design. And now you have a choice. Hide the scars or fill them with gold, with the lessons, the humility, the resilience they bought you. He sought out an old professor, a man named Leo who taught Eastern philosophy. Over bitter tea, Alex spilled his story, the failure, the shame, the chest pain. Leo listened, then asked a single probing question. What was the purpose of your campaign? To look brilliant? Or to truly serve your audience? Alex was silent. The purpose had been to win, to be the hero. Leo leaned forward. The broken bowl's purpose remains to hold. The break changes its form, not its function. Your purpose got cracked. What is it underneath the need to be seen as successful? Until you know that, you're just gluing broken pieces back into a shape that already failed. 3-stage journey, SHU. To protect, to obey. In this stage, you copy the master's forms precisely. You follow the rules without deviation. For Alex, this meant he had to stop trying to be an original genius from scratch. He had to humble himself, to find people who had succeeded where he failed, and copy their systems, word for word, step for step. To digress, to break. Once the forms are ingrained, you begin to break from them. You experiment, you adapt, you integrate your own understanding. This is where the gold from your unique cracks begins to inform the tradition. RI. To separate, to transcend. You move beyond all forms. You act from a place of unconscious principle. Your discipline has become your nature. You are not doing kintsugi. You are kintsugi. This was Alex's roadmap. He wasn't just learning a mindset. He was seeing the stages of his own growth. But how do you live this? Leo's final gift was the daily system. Kaizen, continuous incremental improvement. Don't try to fix your whole life, Leo said. Just one crack, today. This is where modern science bridges the ancient wisdom. Stanford's Carol Dweck's work on the growth mindset shows the brain is not fixed. It's a muscle that strengthens with challenge. Failure isn't a verdict. It's data. Andrew Huberman's neuroscience reveals that small, consistent, focused actions, not occasional heroic efforts, create the deepest neural pathways. The gold you fill your cracks with is literally forged through repetitive, focused attention. Alex's task was no longer build a new career. It was, today, spend 25 minutes deconstructing one successful marketing case study. Just 25 minutes, with full focus. The beginning was frustrating. He was in the Shu stage, and it felt like regression. Copying others' work felt unoriginal, even demeaning. He'd write a post, delete it. Analyze a campaign, feel overwhelmed. The progress was utterly invisible. No external validation. Just the quiet, daily practice of gathering his pieces and examining the breaks. He kept a Kintsugi journal, noting every day. What cracked today? What is the one tiny gold scene action I can take to mend it? Around week 7, something shifted. He was writing a weekly analysis for a small online community, a practice he'd copied from a mentor. Halfway through, he connected a dot from his Project Atlas failure to a principle in a classic business book. It wasn't copying anymore. It was synthesis. The aha stage was beginning. He saw his Atlas failure not as a story of incompetence, but as a masterclass in risk concentration and communication breakdown. The cracks had finished telling him their story, and the gold of insight had set. He wrote a thread titled, "The 3 Systemic Cracks That Sank My $250,000 Campaign and How to Spot Them in Yours." It was raw, specific, and useful. It went viral in his niche. Offers for consulting calls trickled in, not for flawless marketing, but for failure-proofing systems. His greatest humiliation had become his unique point of authority. The broken piece was now the most valuable part of the vessel. Alex saw a business opportunity, a tiny niche helping small tech founders conduct blameless postmortems on their failed initiatives, turning them into operational gold. It was Kintsugi as a service, but it meant stepping off the traditional career ladder. The leap was terrifying, letting go of the last shreds of his old marketing manager identity, draining his savings to build a simple website, and saying, "I do this now." He was in the final stages of Ri. The principles were no longer something he practiced. They were his lens. When a client's launch faltered, he didn't see disaster. He saw the map of future strength. His discipline, the daily journal, the focused study, was as natural as breathing. The final moment came when a young founder, trembling with shame over a missed product deadline, sat across from him. Alex heard his own old, desperate internal dialogue in the man's voice. He didn't just give a strategy. He told him the story of Project Atlas. He showed him the Kintsugi bowl on his desk. He asked Leo's question, "What's the purpose underneath?" He was no longer just repairing himself. He was passing on the art of repair. The student had become the mentor. The shattered had become the source of strength. So, let's synthesize this journey. The trinity that transforms failure into fuel. Core mindset, Kintsugi. See your breaks not as flaws, but as future seams of gold. Shift from a damage to a repair-based identity. Evolution framework, Shu-Ha-Ri. Obey the forms, then break from them, then transcend them. You must humble yourself to copy before you can innovate. Bailey system, Kaizen plus neuroscience. Small, consistent, focused actions forge the golden neural pathways in the invisible hours. This is the lacquer that holds the gold. They work in concert. The mindset, Kintsugi, tells you WH to mend with honor. The framework, Shu-Ha-Ri, shows you where you are on the path. The system, Kaizen, gives you the how, the daily touch of the brush. Here is the ultimate truth Alex discovered, and the transformative question for you. Your breaking is not your end. It is the necessary condition for your unique strength. The world will see either a flaw or a gold seam. You get to choose which. But where are you right now in this journey? Are you in the shattering, holding the pieces? In the Shu stage, humbly copying the masters? Or are you beginning to feeling your own gold start to set? Your call to action. First, subscribe to Presence and Progress. We go deep on turning wisdom like this into daily practice. Second, I want you to comment below, answering this one question. What is one crack in your past that, if you began to see it as a potential gold seam, would change everything for you? Name it. Just the act of naming, it begins the repair.